So I was just thinking about the coronavirus and mental health. I think that the anxiety levels in the UK have ramped up quite significantly since the government's announcement about their new plans and the self-isolating that's suggested. And I was thinking about this and how it's affecting people's mental health, and it occurred to me that we aren't that strong as a society in terms of our boundaries. We're getting better at learning about our boundaries with people and toxic relationships and all that sort of stuff. We're not so good at setting our boundaries for social media or even mainstream media. I was thinking that, as an analogy, I was thinking, well, if you're self-isolating at home and somebody knocks on your door and says, "Hi, I've just been diagnosed with coronavirus, can I come in?" You would say no, because I'm protecting my family from being affected physically. But if I was to say to you, put your devices down, don't read the news, don't go on social media for a week, you wouldn't think the same thing. You wouldn't think, well, it's not doing me any harm. And I would argue that it is. So I would argue that it's like a news story knocking on your door saying, "Hi, I'm packed full of anxiety. Can I come in?" And I think that if it announced itself like that, you'd say, "No, thanks. I've got enough of that already." So we're self-isolating physically, and you don't want to cut yourself out from the world completely, but you do want to, I think, start to think about what information you allow into your home. The fact is that social media and mainstream media are very, very, very good, and have been for a very long time, at whipping everybody into a frenzy. And I'm not saying that the stuff that they're saying is all fake news. It's not. And you can do your own reading and research and decisions about that. But what I wanted to talk about was where your boundaries lie. At what point do you say, "I'm closing the doors to this amount of information"? We all know what's out there. We all know that it's really contagious. We also know that the vast majority of people will be fine. So we don't really need to know any more than that, other than what the government's guidelines are. So what I was going to suggest is that people start to take a break from social media. And you can either do so altogether, so that you're not being fed with this negativity and this fear-mongering all the time, or you can choose to join Facebook groups. I just did a really, really quick search on Facebook for Good News UK. They post 6 or 7 posts a day about stuff that you can be interested in, stuff that you can be hopeful about, and just start to fill yourself with the good stuff rather than filling yourself with the bad stuff. Just as you do with your diet sometimes, eat your vegetables to keep yourself healthy, and cut back on the sugar when you start to feel like it's really starting to affect you. It's hard to do because we are, I think, in a lot of ways wired to think the worst, because we are wired for survival. So we want to be prepared. And social media and the mainstream media, take advantage of that fact. So take control back of your life, take control back of your mental well-being, and put those boundaries in place, decide what they are, and put them in place.